Whether it's mischievous kids or obnoxious colleagues, we've all been there.
I'm PBO and I'm a poopy head. Hellier strikes again. I should probably stop typing now.
But when a hostile foreign superpower hijacks your social media account, it's kind of serious. Like earlier this month when Prime Minister Scott Morrison's WeChat page, which reaches an estimated 76,000 followers, was reportedly rebranded as Australian Chinese New Life.
Scott's account had been registered to an unnamed individual in Fujian province in southern China and was always liable, I think, to be interfered with / shut down. It's his turn, basically, to have his account messed with.
For the uninitiated, WeChat is somewhere between Twitter and Facebook. In China, it's way bigger than both. And while it's privately owned, it's subject to strict censorship by the Chinese Communist Party. So something like this would probably be fine.
The Chinese nation is a great nation. Through hardships and adversity, it remains indomitable.
P.S. PBO is a poopy head.
Maybe this was a malicious hack, but I think more likely than not it was state-sanctioned, and it shows the attitude towards free speech and freedom of expression that comes out of Beijing.
But the takeover didn't come out of nowhere. In December 2020, the Prime Minister criticised the Chinese Foreign Minister for sharing this doctored image of an Australian soldier, only for his post to disappear from WeChat. Then, after Scott Morrison raised the alarm about Chinese interference at the G7 last June, the third-party operator running the PM's WeChat account was locked out. Meanwhile, opposition leader Anthony Albanese's been posting with impunity.
The government's not able to respond to those attacks now that the Prime Minister's account has been taken down. That amounts to a foreign interference in our democracy.
Patterson's now calling for a bipartisan boycott.
I very much doubt that the proposal by James Patterson is going to happen, mainly because the Liberal Party are much better on WeChat than the Labor Party are.
For our pollies, the value of WeChat is obvious.
It's vitally important that the Australian government is able to reach all Australian citizens, whatever their heritage.
But if that access carries such a clear risk to our sovereignty, is it worth it?
There is a real concerted campaign to portray Australia in particular as a racist society and to discredit Australian democracy. As a state, absolutely, we should be extremely cautious.
Gosh, it's a lot to get your head around, isn't it? It's incredibly confusing. Some breaking news that has come in from SBS. So claims the new owner of the account has been blindsided by the controversy and did not know it was Scott Morrison's official account. Oh, right. And WeChat has released a statement saying that it's actually a dispute over account ownership.
So it's a stuff-up, not a conspiracy.
The plot thickens.
But whether it's a stuff-up or a conspiracy, it's interesting because either way, politicians who want to have these accounts, including prime ministers, they need to have essentially a surrogate in China to be able to operate them. That means that it's not part of our system, and they're so important politically. I didn't realise this, but 1 million Australians have WeChat accounts, and then there's some pretty key seats like Chisholm in Victoria.
Well, look at Bennelong in Sydney, where John Howard had the Chinese community in his hand for so many years, and then once he moved on, that seat's been very tough for them to hang on to.
Yeah, so they want it as a campaign tool, but it's something that's beholden, whether it's skullduggery or the Chinese government, out of China, and yet it's this important tool for our democratic process for one side or other to win enough seats to win government.
I think he was easily hacked because his password was OzPM123, so it probably needs to kind of strengthen that just a touch.